All right, guys, we're going to go over the digestive system today. You can see this is in the PowerPoint that you can access from my Life Science Resources page, and you should have a handout. And there's also a digital copy of the Digestive System guided notes. So the first question, a couple questions on there is what is digestion? What is the goal of the digestive system? And when and where does it begin? So you can see in this picture, kind of guess where it begins. It's not in the nose, like the respiratory system. It is one spot in the mouth. That's where it begins, is in the mouth. But when it begins is something different. Now, if you were to close your eyes and imagine a large pizza with thick cheese, if you're not dairy intolerant, but thick cheese, lots of sauce, all of your favorite toppings. You cut the pizza, pull the slice away, and there's cheese stretching out. If you were to imagine stuff like that, especially if you were a little bit hungry, your your mouth would probably start to salivate and produce spit. That is when digestion begins before you even put food in your mouth. If you're thinking about food and your mouth is filling it with spit, your body is already starting to, preparing your mouth for digestion. So digestion begins in the mouth, but it begins sometimes even before you put food into your mouth. What is digestion? So your cells cannot eat pizza. Your cells cannot eat milk. So your cells have to get those very small nutrients. So your body has to break it down, and the bacteria in your body have to break that stuff down so that your cells can actually use it. So remember, digestive system gives nutrients to the blood, and the blood takes it to the cells, like we've already talked about. The cells have to have it in a certain format, in a certain form, to be able to use them. So the digestive system breaks down the food and absorbs that nutrients. So your stomach, your large intestine, small intestine, all those break down food, and all throughout it's absorbing nutrients. So the goal of the digestive system is to break down food and absorb nutrients, both. And different parts of your digestive system do those things. So your mouth is mostly breaking down food. Your stomach is mainly breaking down food, but there is a lot of absorption that happens in your stomach. For example, alcohol, the liquid alcohol, not like rubbing alcohol, but the alcohol like wine and stuff like that. A lot of that gets absorbed in your stomach. And so if somebody drinks alcohol, a lot of it is going to be absorbed into the bloodstream from your stomach. So it doesn't take hours for the effects of alcohol to kick in. It gets into your bloodstream very quickly because it happens in the stomach. It doesn't get small intestine, large intestine. Most of it goes in the stomach. So breaking down food and absorbing nutrients, that's a key thing. You've got to know that. And again, digestion is just the breaking down of food. So let's keep going. So beginning of the digestive system, answer that. It's in the mouth. The end, I think you can think of that. This is your favorite dream where your astronomy teacher talks about Uranus. No, your anus literally doesn't sound like what it actually is. Your anus is where your digestive system ends. It's your large intestine and your colon is where it ends. And the purpose of the digestive system, I've already said, is to break down food and absorb nutrients. You should know this to the point where you're saying it in your sleep. If anybody asks you what the digestive system does, very easy definition. It's not like skeletal system where there's 5 things. This is 2 things: break down food and absorb nutrients. All right. So I don't know if you remember in earth science when we talked about physical change and chemical change. Physical change is breaking something, like you can take a pencil and break it in half. That's a physical change. A chemical change would be like burning the pencil or putting the pencil in acid. You can put the pencil back together if it's like break it. You can't put the pieces back together if you burn it. Chemical changes are a change in the chemical structure of the organism. A physical change is just like change of size or something like that. So your teeth help with the physical change. They break down food. They're tearing, they're grinding. Saliva. Saliva is the chemical digestion. It's the chemical change. So your spit is breaking down food. If you were to put a saltine cracker in your mouth, like the little square saltine crackers, like with salads and stuff, if you were to put that in your mouth and let it stay there, don't crunch it, just stick it on your tongue and shut your mouth. The salty taste would turn to a sugar taste because your spit is breaking that carbohydrate down into more simple sugars. So it's turning that saltine cracker into sugar. So saliva is a chemical change. Teeth are a physical change. And then your tongue helps send it to the next part of your digestive system, which is your esophagus. So you can see on your paper, mouth and esophagus already filled in. Your esophagus, if you think about the respiratory system, what organ would the esophagus be similar to the respiratory system? It would be the trachea. So the trachea is very similar to the esophagus. So the esophagus is that tunnel, is the tube that connects your mouth to your stomach. Is the connection between your mouth and your stomach. And there's muscles in your esophagus that push it down. So if you turn upside down, you can actually eat food and send it from your mouth to your stomach upside down. So it's not just gravity, it's the muscles in your body, in your esophagus. All right. Stomach. The stomach. Its main job, like I said, is to break down food. There's acid. If you've probably heard of stomach acid before, and I know we've talked about sphincters before. You can see in this picture on the slide that there's a sphincter at the top of your stomach. There's also one at the bottom of your stomach, but there's one at the top of your stomach. You can see it's labeled lower esophageal sphincter. That's what keeps acid from coming up your throat. So if you've ever burped up and had that nasty acid taste, that's because your sphincter let that stuff up. Or if you've ever thrown up, that's because that sphincter let this stuff up. Your stomach, those smooth muscles, push the food up. If somebody has chronic heartburn, like heartburn over and over and over, it'll actually wear down the esophagus because that acid is not meant for the esophagus. That acid is not meant for the small intestine. That acid is meant for the stomach, and the stomach has special tissues that help protect it. When it gets out of that area, that's where things like ulcers. Have you guys ever probably had an ulcer in your mouth or something? I know I will get ulcers if I burp up those nasty burps and I don't rinse my mouth out. That acid will kind of wear away at my mouth and I'll get an ulcer. So yeah, the stomach is breaking down food. It's also absorbing, but mostly breaking down food. And you can see the different layers of the stomach, the mucosa, submucosa, and then there's muscle layers. There's that smooth muscle. You don't have to know the different parts of the stomach. Just know what it does. It breaks down food. Mostly. All right, so this is kind of the weird spot. Pancreas, liver, and gallbladder. Your food never sees these things. Your food, your burger that you eat at lunch, will never see your pancreas, liver, or gallbladder. But these things create stuff that help in digestion. So it's kind of like it's a supply. It supplies materials that helps break down food. So it says helps the chemical digestion of food when it reaches the small intestine. We'll watch a video in a little bit that shows that. The pancreas. You guys have probably heard of the pancreas before. This is where insulin is made. So if you know somebody that's diabetic, the pancreas may be one of the organs that is kind of struggling to do its job. But again, the pancreas is helping break down food. Remember the two jobs: breaks down food and absorbs nutrients. The pancreas is the thing that's helping break down food. Liver creates bile. Now, you've probably never seen bile, but bile is not a very good, nice smelling, pleasant substance, but it breaks down fats. We all eat fats probably, unless you're on a special diet. But the liver creates the bile, and the gallbladder stores the bile. The liver creates the bile. The gallbladder stores the bile. So you can go and write those down, fill those in.